our philosophy is that any good campaign, whether it be small business owners, which comprise about 80% of our business on an annual basis, and about 20% of our advertising revenue is national brands. We believe that any good campaign is typically a multi-channel campaign. And some of the things that Nexstar Digital solves for is the ability to coordinate campaigns across channels. So be able to do things like cross-screen reach and frequency management on behalf of those buyers, and then also be able to apply the learnings from those channels to other channels. So the ability to leverage an OTT buy to inform a mobile buy, or a desktop buy to inform an OTT buy. Because we find a lot of our partners lack that kind of cross-channel information and telemetry to maximize the return on their ad spend. So one of the things that we've talked about, or what Nina opened with, was the challenge around cross-platform video measurement. How can brands and agencies determine incremental reach and the return on that incremental reach outside of linear if you're extending your television buy into connected televisions and OTT? And that's a primary problem that Nexstar's linear extension product solves for. So one of the offerings that we have that solve for those very issues, and specific to the ability to measure cross-platform between linear and connected television and OTT supply, is what we call linear extension. We announced a partnership with Comscore last year, which is exclusive to Nexstar, that allows us to take local and regional linear schedules and turn them into digital IDs. What that allows us to do is to coordinate marketing across other digital channels, OTT being the primary, to extend linear buyers' reach into the OTT ecosystem without being redundant with their linear buy. So it is a pure reach and frequency extension of their linear television buy. Some key stats here. Again, we touch about 65 million televisions. Has about 99% coverage of US zip codes. And there are several use cases that we solve for, which we'll cover in a moment, but one is digital extension, which we talked about. We can also do sequential messaging. So maybe you want to reconnect with that consumer with a different message on OTT that you may have shown them on linear, and then also competitive conquesting as well. So what's unique about this is that we have a lot of our own proprietary audience data we're able to bring from our owned and operated assets. When you touch 110 million people on a monthly basis, that gives us unique perspective into their content consumption habits, particularly when it comes to news. We're actually able to model that information out on a contextual basis, and we can even apply that to our linear extension product. So we can make advertising not just geographically relevant, but also contextually relevant to the program that people are watching, which may have a propensity to better influence their decisions to drive people to your brick and mortar location. All of our inventory that we source for this extension is directly sourced through our proprietary technology platform called Liquid, which we acquired in 2018. So we're also maximizing the efficiency of your media dollar because we're not going through middlemen. We have direct relationships with hundreds of publishers in the OTT, connected television, and digital video space as well. So those are some of the other benefits of working with the Nexstar, is our scale in terms of our ability to understand audiences across the country and our ability to directly connect with third-party media sources to drive this linear extension product. I don't think there's any question that the space continues to see, significant growth on a year-over-year basis. I think one of the big challenges facing it is a common currency. For the digital folks or people that have been steeped in digital for their entire careers, like myself, I think some of us like to turn our nose up at something like Nielsen and the GRP. But I think without that and creating that common currency, we wouldn't have had the last 65, 70 years of ad-supported television without that common currency. I think that's our number one challenge that we need to solve for, is some unifying currency across OTT because there are so many players. My other
watch this space, Tony. We're gonna work on that together.
No, I know. I know it's an IAB initiative, and I think it's very much needed. And I think we need an independent arbiter such as yourself to establish those standards. And the second thing is, it may not be directly CTV, but I think the horses are out of the stable. As Greg, we were talking about the other day, Allison and Kyle, prepping for this. I think the OTT and the things that Roku's offering and the precision addressability and targeting that OTT offers, I think is really pushing the conversation around addressable or programmatic linear television. And so I think it's going to force linear companies such as ourselves and others and the major MVPDs, the cable companies, to address that, because folks like Greg and Kyle are like, great, I've got this great precision and data source now when I buy OTT. How do I get that in television? So I think you're going to see it also be a forcing mechanism for more addressable television capabilities with linear buys.